going to be doing another one of our first impressions of a Walthers building. So recently I had a nasty accident on my layout where I accidentally broke my signal box or interlocking station. Depends on where you live, but in Australia we call them signal boxes. So since I've been running a lot of Pennsylvania, especially with my J1, and I'm hoping to get a mountain sooner or later, I was thinking like, hey, why not? I remember seeing this this Pennsylvania interlocking block. I think it was a different one by Walthers, but this is what I remembered seeing online, and it was a pretty good price. I paid 44 Australian dollars, so about roughly 20 US. So pretty good deal. I got some of the other stuff that you will see in my video coming up this weekend. Me building up the Pennsylvania caboose. So let's dive into it. Let's see what we actually get. So on the box, your typical blue open lid box. You got your dimensions, nearly 5 inches tall, so quite tall actually, and 3 inches wide. 3 inches length and 2.5 inches wide. So it'll fit on as a good replacement for the one that I've already got. And obviously it gives you a nice picture. Look, is it going to look like that without painting it? Obviously not. It is, from my experience of the other Walthers kits, yes, you don't really have to paint them, but I really like doing it because I think it really does add to a lot of the work. So what do we actually get in it? So as it mentions in the box, we do get all of our sort of decals. One thing I am a bit surprised in, which is on the other kit, it does mention you did get Conrail, which on this, you get Scepter, Amtrak, Long Island, nickel plate, and 2 sets of Pennsylvania. So you got the older style, and then you've got the more modern style and Penn Central. And PRSL, which I'm not too familiar with, but I'm still a little bit weirded out why they never bothered with Conrail. It definitely would have fit like maybe a small section here, but hey, can't really complain. I mean, I suppose the easiest way to do it would just be to do Penn Central. So it does come with your bit of plastic, clear plastic for your windows, which I'm guessing, since it's actually quite small, there's your warranty card, and here's your general instructions. So nothing too complicated. This is, I'd say, quite comparable to a lot of the Pico kits I've done. I've done a Pico signal box and the Pico shed. The question is just in general, how well it actually comes together and how detailed it is. Because, yeah, it's not to me a complicated kit, but it would be nice that if you basically shook the box in the right way, it's going to just fall apart together. And that's the way you really want it to be. So obviously it gives you a nice sort of background, and something that I've already noticed, which isn't really a big deal, which is there is no interior. Now, is that really a big deal? Not personally, because a lot of the signal boxes I've actually which are still in service in Australia, they're not really lit, to be honest. Even late at night, I've never really even seen lights on. And before you go, oh, well, maybe there's no one inside. No, I'm pretty sure the local signal box, Penrith signal box, is still in service. So let's open it up. Everything's sort of nicely packaged. And to be fair, the fact that it comes in a box like this, it's actually quite good, because what you'll notice on, let's say, some of the other Tamiya kits is where I'd say the box is very crumply. Alright. Yeah, so yeah, where you sort of, where the postman is sort of a little bit too aggressive that day, and yeah, you can actually end up with with broken spruce. But since the box is actually quite sturdy, yeah, pretty solid. Now, straight up, the actual detail, the grouting, is very well done. So what we have here is just your nice sort of windows. So obviously your clear plastic goes in there. And the thing I will say is for buildings, I've noticed it does make a nice difference. We're sort of seeing that reflection a bit. Yeah. But obviously you should really paint some of this. Well, it will probably go nicely together without some paint. I always do recommend that you at least, give a nice sort of base coat, and in that way you can sort of put a little bit of weathering on it, get that grouting nice and defined. And then you've got, I believe, there's a picture, the base. So this is, from what I'm guessing, the base is actually quite small. It's a lot smaller than my current one. So yeah, it's quite nice. And as you can sort of see, there's a little bit of flash. Not that that's a big deal, but where it is might be a small issue. So doing a little bit of cleanup is gonna be a little bit more fiddly, just because you really don't want to damage any of that sort of section there, because look, it's just gonna be a misery if you do. So there's the back. You've still got a lot of whatchamacallit, these bits. I can never remember a good name for it. But yeah, so that's gonna be fairly easy cleanup, but it is still cleanup nonetheless. Annoying, but what can you do? Now the brick is actually very well done. I'd actually say this is probably one of the better. In general, I'd say Walthers is actually very good at its building kits. Now, I haven't really done a lot of other building kits, but from what I'm actually looking at here, it's probably a bit better than a lot of the Pico building kits. And considering I paid the one that I have for Pico, I think it was just some British Railway signal box. It was a lot more expensive for the same sort of quality. And one other thing is, one I will also say about the Pico signal box is it came with very thick plastic for windows, and a lot less detailed, especially when it came to like especially the window part. So I will definitely be doing a sort of showcasing me replacing this, using this to replace my current layout one. But I just wanted to give you a sort of first impressions on seeing what actually you get in these, and if they are actually worthwhile investing in terms of your layout. Because generally, and I'm sure most people have experienced, is not so much buyer's regret, but like for example on the Bowser kit I'm currently building, I will be honest here, I think the coupler, trying to install the couplers has just been a total nightmare. And yes, I'm sure someone will say, oh, but I managed to get it done. But from my experience, it hasn't been a very enjoyable journey trying to put those couplers. Everything else has actually turned out quite well. So it is important to me that people sort of get a very good idea of what you're getting in the kit, how good the instructions are, and whether you actually get even your sort of window material. Because it is the most annoying thing in the world when you buy a kit and then you find out, no, I actually have to go back to the hobby store and get everything remade. I got to get my new windows, got to get more couplers, maybe I even need to get some more wheels, which I definitely do. And I have found out that that it is double the price for me to buy wheels from my local store compared to just buying it from factory direct. Which is a disappointment, because I have a lot of accurate rail kit, which I've realized I will need to buy, I think, probably about 36 wheels, and probably even more to replace the plastic wheels I've got. And that's a lot of money if you're buying it here, because last time I remembered I paid about $30 for a set of 10, and if America's selling it at about 20 for 12, you can guess what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna buy a massive bulk of like wheels, maybe a couple wagon kits, and hopefully at the end of the year, I buy myself a daylight. I don't know why, I really want my daylight. I've got a recent MT4 that'll be coming up in a review, but for that review, I will also be sort of going more in depth in the history. So it'll be a very long form video. I'm just trying to seek a few permissions from a few people to see if I could use that footage while sort of talking about it, because I will be using my MT book, which is a revised, I can't remember who wrote it, but basically giving you a bit of a rundown of why you should get one, but also the history behind, which is a bit more in depth than, let's say, a paragraph or two going, hey, here's the ST45, it's a bigger version of the ST40. So I am hoping to get that out maybe end of this month, we'll see. And because at the end of the month I am going to be going on a couple train trips around, so that'll be fun. Happy modeling, and hopefully you get excited for my new Caboose video. I'll let you see a little preview of it. There we go, even got the whole train phone kit. But yeah, pretty excited to showcase that, and it'll hopefully be up this weekend. It's gonna be a long night of editing it, so hopefully you enjoy all that, and yeah, thank you and come again.